what is going on to all my bourbon fans out there, man? Welcome to my segment on the rocks, man, where I do my weekly review on a bourbon that I choose of my choosing, one that I've drank before, one that I have enjoyed, one that I think deserves to be on the show, and I do my review on them. And it's a new segment on the rocks. It's presented by Bourbon and Boxing, of course. That is my other show that I have, where we talk boxing, we drink some bourbon, and we give you all the fight schedules, all that cool stuff out there, man. But this segment, I thought I got to give bourbon some love, man. So we got to give it its own little segment. That's what I do here, guys. Is give bourbon the proper love that it deserves. With this show right here, because I am a big fan of bourbon, man. I don't call my show Bourbon and Boxing just for the cool name. I call it bourbon and boxing because it's two of my favorite things out there, bourbon and boxing, baby. And when you put them both together, you can't go wrong with it, right? You know what I'm saying, guys? But thanks for joining me. This is a Saturday night for me. I don't work tomorrow. Rare Sunday off for me. Really cool. So I'm down here enjoying my bourbon. Got my kids laid down, relaxed, sleeping. So I'm down here now, just enjoying my bourbon, watching me a little old 1980s movie, License to Drive, of course, epic. Oh, excuse me on that there. A little fly in the throat, whatever. But hey, like I said, man, this show is all dedicated to bourbon, man. I won't be talking any boxing whatsoever. We will give the bourbon its proper love. And this is On the Rocks with Horse Soldier. One of my favorites out there, man. I came across this in the store. I haven't really seen it much other places. I got it at Kroger's. I drank this over the summertime, man. I really enjoyed it. And what this one may lack in the history richness that the other bourbons have out there, it definitely makes up in legacy and just the legendary people that make this bourbon and what they've done for our great country here in America, man, and what they've sacrificed, put their lives on the line out there, man. Horse Soldier is what we're going to be reviewing. Of course, now this gets a little deeper for some people because it all kind of generated, got its start. I guess you could say it was born through one of the greatest tragedies in American history. Of course, people, that's 9/11, 2001. Everybody remembers, if you're alive, where you were at that time, man. I definitely do. I remember waking up, seeing it on TV, and just trying to register everything I was seeing and figure out, and seeing what was going on in our country being attacked like it was on that day, and so many innocent lives lost. With our first responders, people in the buildings, the planes, families, all that kind of stuff, man. A huge, huge tragedy here in the States and the US. And I just, this bourbon definitely is a great tribute to that tragedy as far as, the men who created this bourbon basically put their lives on the line for this country during that great tragedy that we had. They ran headfirst into the fire to defend us, America, man. So you guys always give your hats off to a company like that. I'll let you guys get a look at the bottle. The bottle is one of my favorite bottles, man. It's really cool. I like having it on my shelf. It's usually right there, guys, as you can see the empty spot there. But here it is. Really cool bottle. Look at that. And it also has the nice little backstory, which you're going to hear that today, anyways. I like to give the backstory, not only just tell you what I thought about the bourbon, but also give you a little backstory about it too. What my thoughts are on it, but the backstory of the origins of it. Like I said, this one doesn't have the history of the other ones, but it definitely has a legacy, man. And you know, the just what comes with this bourbon definitely needs to be supported by everybody. Uh, if you haven't tried it, give it a try, man, because all the proceeds go to maintaining the monument, the Americans monument uh, over in New York City. So it goes to maintaining that little stuff like that. Most of the proceeds do. But man, let's just get into this, guys. I want to give you the backstory of this stuff. It's really, really cool. But before we do that, man, we can't start the show without taking a little shot and a salute to all the men and women out there serving our country, giving us the right, the freedom for me to be able to sit here and talk right now to you guys as I am doing today, uh, and be able to say what I want and voice my opinion. But here it is, guys. My backstory. on the rocks with Horse Soldier. Ah, man, what a way to start a show, man. I was ready for this little bit of bourbon in my life right now. Uh, Long week, ready to relax a little bit. So I'm down here in my little man dungeon, getting my talk on with you guys, man. Hoping you're going to join me, man. I want some more interaction from you guys, man. That would be really cool to get you guys to maybe shoot out some ideas of bourbons that you'd like to see me review, or bourbons that you may have tried that you might say, hey, give these a try, because I've got so many that I'm going to review. I'm going to try to get to most of the ones that I have in my basement, but at the same time, if I come across something different, I'm gonna definitely try it. Or if somebody throws something out there, I'll definitely give it a try. And any of you whiskey companies out there, man, you want me to review your whiskey or anything like that, I get my emails usually at the bottom in comments. Just contact me through my email, and we can go over whatever you guys would like to do, or where I might be able to purchase your item or anything like that. All right, guys, here we go, man. Like I said, man, this has got a great backstory to it. Of course, it all started from, 9/11, the attacks on the tower, the attacks on our country, America. Uh, when we had to go to Afghanistan, we went to war to defend our country, to fight back for what, had been done to us. So, it's in the days after the events of 9/11, 2001. A group of special operation officers answered their nation's call to defend it. These officers soon found themselves riding horseback and and in a Green Beret insurgent in northern Afghanistan to fight the Taliban. I mean, think about that, guys. I mean, do you imagine that? Like, our soldiers, as far as I mean, we're not horseback trained for that type of thing. I'm sure special forces probably they're probably trained in everything, every type of warfare that you could think of. But man, these guys, how awesome would that be, honestly? As scary as it would be, how awesome would it be to be on horseback, riding into battle to defend your country, to fight against people who are out to hurt you? Uh, Man, the rush these guys must have had going into battle, and not their normal terrain, not in a, armored tank and not in a armored vehicle, but on horseback, going into battle against insurgents, guys who are out to kill them, harm them, and just pretty cool to think of that in your head, man. You can kind of picture these guys. That's something you would think of more back in the day, you know what I mean, and not in modern warfare as it was at that time. And so it's pretty cool to hear that kind of story, that these guys went into battle on horseback, and to fight these guys. It's just really neat. Uh, but yeah, like I said, they went in, they fought the Taliban. These men are honored at the Americans Response Monument uh, at around Ground Zero. Right around Ground Zero is where that monument is, guys. I don't know if you go up to New York, check that monument out, man. I'm pretty sure it's pretty a sight to see. A bunch of emotions might come from seeing something like that, man. I don't know. I would love to see it myself one day, but I don't know emotionally how I would be, because I remember that day really, really, really well and very vividly. That morning, waking up to that, just one of those things, guys. But without getting too much Debbie Downer on you, don't want to ruin this, man. Let's take another shot and continue on with our story about Horse Soldier. But like I said, man, just imagine riding into battle in northern Afghanistan, of all places. So I'm sure mountains and God knows what else type of terrain that you're going to be dealing with, and then you can't take, I guess, regular vehicles into those areas, so they had to use horseback. And just can you imagine that, man? That's actually pretty neat. But hey, let's take another shot and get on with the story of Horse Soldier, man. Like I told you guys, it was going to be a really cool story. Very not It doesn't have the history, but it definitely has the legacy, and just legendary, man. A legendary bourbon, guys, that you have to try for sure. Oh, man. Oh, man, yeah, there we go. Get that burn going down. Yeah, I love it. All right, man. So, pretty much after these guys had done their service that to their country, fighting one of the longest wars in American history, and done their service for their country, they came home, and they decided, the same men banded together to create American Freedom Distillery. I mean, what a not just badass dudes, but a badass name. You know what I mean? American Freedom Distillery. If anybody understands freedom and fighting for it and protecting it, it's these guys right here. You know what I'm saying? So a badass name to a badass company from some badass dudes. Give them the hats off to that. Their distillery is 16,000 square foot distillery, man, located in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida, where they distill their Wrecker rum. So look, guys, they're not just into bourbon. These dudes also produce rum. I don't know if you're a rum fan. I don't really dabble in rum too much, but if you are, give Wrecker rum a try. It's also from the same company, Horse Soldier, American Freedom Distillery, baby, America. Fuck yeah. Sorry, got a little hype. It gets me hyped up. America. We love our country. I know I do. I don't know about y'all, but I love America. But anyways, getting to redneck on you guys. Let's get back into the story. Like I said, they're located in downtown where they do their Wrecker rum, but their whiskey is made in Ohio, baby, where I'm from, baby. Horse Soldier, American Freedom Distillery. Hit me up, guys. I'm in Ohio. Also, love to rep you guys some more. Maybe a little something in the background besides just the bottle. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. If you want to pick it up, run with it. Do whatever you want. It's cool. It's cool. But I ain't, just suggestions. Suggestions, guys. But anyways, like I said, they distill their whiskey here in Ohio in conjunction with Middle West Spirits. A portions of all their proceeds, like I said, go to maintaining uh, the memorial, the Americans Memorial, Response Memorial that they have at Ground Zero. So every time they sell a bottle, a little bit of the money goes to that to help keep that up to clean and looking good and representing that area and that tragedy. But like I said, man, just altogether a badass name for a distillery from some badass dudes that protected our country. And especially in a time when we were attacked, these dudes went in on horseback, bro. Horseback, Green Beret style, special forces, some Rambo shit, guys, that you would see in Rambo or in a movie. That these guys live that life, man. So it would be cool for one just to shake their hand and look them in their eyes and thank them for what they did for our country. But just let alone just to be able to meet somebody like that who could tell you those stories or you know be that type of experience, man, because not all of us had the cojones to go do something like that in life. So, those guys are special, man. I got a lot of friends that served in the military, so a lot of respect. My grandpa served in the military, so a lot of respect on my end for all military men, women, all of them out there. Families also who have to deal with their loved ones being away from them and stuff like that. It's not an easy job to do, and it's not easy being a wife or a husband to a military person. So hats off to all those people and what they go through and what they deal with and what they do to help us keep our freedom here in America, baby. Allowing me to talk in my basement to you guys, even though I'm not secluded, nothing like that. I can say what I want, but I like it down here because my kids can't bother me. You know what I mean? Can't interrupt my show. Uh, all right, man. That was pretty much the backstory. Like I said, it doesn't have that 150-year history. It doesn't have that enriched, like 50-year history. It doesn't have any of that, guys. But it doesn't need it, man, because it's a hell of a whiskey without it, because the legacy of this whiskey is what makes it, not the history, but the legacy makes this whiskey what it is today, guys. And my thoughts on it, man. Let's get to my thoughts. It's a soft and sweet aroma with touches of caramel spice and grain, sweet and approachable, very nicely approachable, great for sipping. I really recommend it for first time bourbon drinkers, man. It's a perfect thing to introduce yourself to bourbon with because it's not an overpowering flavor. It does have a little bit of oak zip to it, which I love the oak taste to it. Oak and spice that it does have to it. The little finish that it has a little bit of bang to the finish of it, which I really enjoy. But I think this bourbon overall, I give it a 90 out of 100. And I recommend it to any, especially first time bourbon drinkers, man. This is the perfect thing to pick up. It's about 87 proof. Uh, you know, it's not going to be overbearingly strong. You can throw it on some ice and sip on it, man, and it's really really good. Great stuff, man. And the flavors of it, if you really sit back and enjoy it, let it set for a minute, like I like to do. Put my bourbon in a cup, swirl it up. Uh, 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 I'm sorry, I get a little bit off track, guys. I apologize. But anyways, look, check it out. But it's a great sipping bourbon. It's a great bourbon overall. I give it a 90 out of 100, guys, man, and I give it a salute to these dudes, to all the men and women that serve our country. I said it over and over on this show, man, and you can't ever say it enough, man. Salute off, hats off to these guys, and I thank you for what you do for our country, what you did do for our country, and what they are currently doing for our country, guys. Um, Not much more to talk about on that, man. But like I said, thank you for joining me on this segment presented by Bourbon and Boxing on the rocks. We reviewed Horse Soldier this week, man. Once again, I'll show you the bottle. Really, really cool, man. Bottle, great tasting stuff. 90 out of 100 for me. Recommend it for all bourbon drinkers to give it a try. And great for first time bourbon drinkers, man. Look at that cool bottle, bro. That's a pretty sweet bottle. But thank you guys for joining me, man. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe. Check me out, man. You can find this on Spotify. You can find it on iHeartRadio. You can find it on Amazon Music. You can find me on Apple. I'm pretty much on every platform you can think of. You can listen to me in your car. You can watch me on YouTube, where I'll also post this video, and I'll also put it on my Spotify, man. You can check out my Bourbon and Boxing group on Facebook for all your latest boxing news. I also throw some bourbon stuff in on that site too. It's not just called Bourbon and Boxing for the cool name, baby. I love both of them, bourbon and boxing. And this segment here is just for all my bourbon drinkers, guys. And thank you guys for joining me. And have a great night. I'm your host, Jeff, man.